Hey there guys, this is Obsidian Chill. Got another video for you today, and it happened again. So let me put it up on the screen here so you guys can follow along with me. So just released last night to test server is the balance changes to two-handed weapons. So drum roll, not like we didn't expect this coming. Doomspin damage has been decreased by approximately 44%. Clobber damage increased by 29%. Mega Smash damage increased by 60% when fully charged. So basically, Batuba said that Doomspin had been overperforming for a while, which was a part of a bug. So that's, a while means GU97, which is the last time they did the weapon pass update. So after being adjusted, Doomspin should be more in line with other AoE abilities. Due to some potential loss of single target damage with the fix, not intended for Doomspin, we've increased Mega Smash and Clobber. So that just means that Doomspin was so broken and so overpowered, it was just as strong on single target as it was on AoE, which is not a surprise. There's plenty of people Doomspinning the Oracle bot in Clock Tower Elite before the color change phase. I mean, it's not like Doomspin. I keep hearing or keep reading that like Doomspin was such a high risk, high reward power. It's like there was no risk to Doomspin. You could Doomspin in any kind of content. Every Elite content I've ever seen, Doomspin was clearly viable. So the other combos that he was talking about, if you aren't familiar too with the 200 weapon tree, Mega Smash here, it's the 4x hold. Not as realistic of a power to use in combat because the 4x hold takes about 6 seconds to complete. Yeah, it's a lot of damage, but it's a pretty tight cone as well. Everything has to be pretty tied together in terms of ads. But it's something. It's more like one of those fun powers. You can't really clip it either, but everyone should know what Mega Smash is. That's when you're kind of hovering in midair. It's pretty viable in terms of the distance you can cover between the first 3 holds, and then the 4th hold, obviously, you're stuck in midair. So it's not, obviously, it's not going to be completely viable, but the damage was increased. And the other one was Clobber, which was the 5-tap, which is basically just that spin there. So in terms of that, what I'm going to do now is show you clips between the test server and live server, so you'll be able to see the damage itself in the clips. I don't have Prec artifacts on live server, obviously because of my DPS, so I'm much lower Prec. It's about the most Prec I could do without like really changing around augments and everything else was just a mess. I just decided to quickly go with 32k Prec, which obviously is really low compared to what you guys are having live server, which is probably like a 38k base. So obviously the numbers are going to be a bit low, what you'd be seeing on live and test, but I'll be able to match it about 32k Prec on live and test to give an even comparison. So let me show you these clips here. So yeah, obviously you can tell from the footage, Doomspin obviously took a hefty nerf, which is not unrealistic. Like, you have to look at it, it's not some attack on precision with the changes of dual flurry shot and Doomspin. This is all just baby steps. We're working towards weapon pass in general. We're just kind of just knocking one thing off at a time. There's not even Prec TPS. As a Prec TPS, you cannot tell me that Doomspin was wildly overpowered. You could go into like any compare it against Might DPS. Like, that's what everyone wants to say, like, oh, you're just trying to buff Might DPS. What Might DPS was hitting 1 mil, like, easily achieving 1 mil base damage, like base buff, no buffs whatsoever, base damage on 3 targets in 10 seconds, or even 30 seconds. Like, what my power set was doing that. You can't say nature, because obviously nature is going to be adjusted as well. Like, if you think that we're just gonna, like, the developers are just gonna leave nature like this while adjusting Prec, that's not happening. Nature's just as broken as Doomspin ever was. But what are the power sets hitting it? Like, take a look at Earth. Like, Earth easily could hit on live server, could hit 1 mil damage on 3 targets with Doomspin. Is Might doing that? No. Like, I'm Might on live. I got like 71k Might, and my rotation will be in the 80s. Sometimes I can get in the 90s with crits. In raids, am I going to get a million? Yeah, because I'll be buffed. But I mean, so will the Prec TPS, but I'm talking base damage. So Rage Might is definitely not reaching 1 mil, because you have to nerf yourself Might because you're running Soul Cloak, Trance, and Strat. So you're nerfing your Might down to like 65k levels, 64, 65k, compared to what, like, if you run a proper setup, you're about 70k Might. So you're nerfing yourself like 4 or 5k Might because of the artifact setup, and you're still hitting like 60s, 70s, like mid 80s. You're not hitting 1 mil. Where Rage Prec with Doomspin, easy 1 mil, automatic 1 mil. So you have 15 power sets as Prec capable of getting 1 mil damage on 3 targets as Prec base damage, where you have maybe 2, 3, including nature, Might power sets that can do the same thing. So even like a 10% nerf, 5% nerf to Doomspin, no, it needed a big nerf to bring it down. Is 44% too much? We won't really know until on live server, because this is one of the things where have to be play tested. So if they have to change it down the fact, like if it's too much and increase it by another 10%, I mean, I'm sure that's doable and that's realistic, but it's something that's got to be play tested just because of how test server is. We have lower stats. Dom's kind of crazy, so we can't really properly test it. Plus, there's a whole whack of Prec TPS, obviously, of two-handed still. So it's not some conspiracy trying to destroy Prec here. It's just that we're finally, like, the developers and Batuba are finally taking steps to be able to get this game balanced, because it's not balanced right now on the Prec side or Might. Like, you can't say the Might side is balanced when every rotation involves like Heat Vision, Freezing Breath, and Robot Psychic and New Venom. Like, that's not balanced. Like, anyone who says that the game is the most balanced as being, or that the game is super balanced for DPS, is a moron. I mean, for lack of like a nicer way to put it, no, you're just ignorant, because there is no balance. There's more balance on iconic and movement powers. Like, basically a Might loadout for melee, because of the Heat Vision splitting on Soul Amplifier, you could run like Heat Vision, Freezing Breath, Robot Psychic, Whirling Dervish, and New Venom. You could just run that on every power set. I mean, how's that balance when you're just using iconic and movement mode abilities? Because like Tornado Pull, Dervish, even like the Acrobat, like Grapple Line, Zip Tie Attack, they're stronger than any other abilities, single target powers. Tornado Pull is the highest single target power in the game, and it's a movement mode ability. Dervish is one of the best AoE Might powers in the game, and it's a movement mode. So, Heat Vision is one of the strongest range AoE and melee, and it's single target. It does everything. Freezing Breath, same thing, max range. Sonic Shout. So, I mean, you can't tell me there's balance when, you know, basic powers like that are just outperforming everything else. So, at the same time, all these people making like sensationalist claims that like, oh, Prec is destroyed, Prec's nerfed to the ground, I'm switching Might. I mean, now you just have to test yourselves. Now presents the first opportunity since GU97 that you have to actually go out and figure something out for yourself, instead of just being like spoon-fed two-handed. It's like, here's dual wield, here's two-handed, go DPS. I mean, that's essentially what it's been like since GU97. And even before that, it was, okay, here's a bow, do smoke bomb, here's dual wield, do flurry shot, done. I mean, you haven't had to actually work for yourself for to find a Prec weapon, because it's just been, there's been like bow smoke bomb, doomspin, and dual flurry shot have been so much higher than everything else, it wasn't even worth trying to find another weapon combo. So if you're thinking Prec is dead, I'll show you this clip here. So all this is just simple one-handed flurry clipping. That's all it is. I mean, yeah, it works a little bit easier with Rage because you can weapon tab cancel Lacerate, but I mean, any power can do this with Dervish as well. You just need to find one other power. So if I'm hitting with my garbage test stats on test server with Prec, because right now this is probably like 35k Prec. If I'm getting 78, 75, like low 80s, what do you think you're gonna be getting on live server? You're gonna be getting those 1 mil, closer to 1 mils, and you still got Zerk. So before you go telling me, 83, like before you go telling me Prec is dead, Prec is nerfed to the ground, it's try actually exploring your opportunities available to you. You've got Brawling Haymaker, Home Run Weapon Mastery. You've got even the Rifle Flurry Weapon Mastery. You've got Big Scoopas out there. Like you've got options for Prec. You just have to find it. So we'll see you in the next video.